So, hello. I decided that I was going to start recording videos at least once a week and just putting it out there. So, whatever the things that I have been learning on my healing and spiritual journey, I definitely I feel something in me calling to share with people. I a lot of my friends and family, I have shared that once I'm in a place that I feel comfortable with, I definitely want to start helping heal people, um, in a sense of where it's dedicated to that person. It's dedicated to that person's spirit. I think we live in a society where we think one size fits all, instant gratification, and that has just caused a lot of anxiety and depression amongst people. And the solution is a one size fits all instant gratification that the West has came up with depression medicine, anxiety medicine. And by no means am I saying you should not take depression, you should not take anxiety, because everybody in their journey, that might be what you need in that moment. But for me, is let's that not be the end goal. So a lot of times I've heard from family and friends is that once they're put on it, they don't have a roadmap on how to come off of it, or they're not giving tools to use along with the medication. And so for me is to share what I've learned on this journey, and hopefully that will help others, because it's not, the healing journey is not a one size fit all. I mean, on this journey I have pulled from so many spiritualities, so many healings. I have just pulled from a lot of stuff and just finding what fits me. And again, each day it evolves to something new or something I remember. And so last night I went for a run, because I just, in my body, I was just feeling energy, just like anxiety energy, and depression energy, like kind of coming on. And so we're all energy. And so for me, it's okay, I need to move this out. Like, I got to do something to where I'm not storing it in. And so for me, running is meditation. Running is a way to release that stored up energy that I no longer want to hold in my body. So when I went for my run, it was a full moon last night, and I sat down to just kind of ground and meditate under the moon. And the messages kind of like came to me. So I recorded it. You could not see me. And so I was like, oh, my intent was get up today, get dressed, and re-record the video, because I think I'm going to release it onto YouTube. I'm not quite ready for the full social media yet, but I said, just release it on YouTube. Someone finds the message, hopefully it's meant for them to find it. And so that was the intent, was that I was going to get up. Well, I should have known, because I'm learning on the spirit, like you can't recreate spirit in moments like that. So when I was talking, I was talking from a divine place, from a place of spirit. And so today it's like the message just was not the same. Like, I was trying to say everything I said in the video, remember, and it was just going here and there. So finally, like, you know what? I'm just going to give you guys that video with you barely being able to see me, and this will just be the pre-video to that. There was some things though that I just kind of want to add on to what I did say in that video last night. One is truly aligning with your true authentic self. I think once you start to truly align with your true authentic self, and that comes from what I said in the video, self-discovery, self-realization, and starting self-care and self-love rituals. But once you start aligning with your true authentic self, you will not say no when you mean it. You will not say yes when you mean no. Like, you just won't, because that is not operating from authentic place. When we say yes and we mean no, we're not acting and aligning with our true authentic self. So I think once you start aligning with your true authentic self and finding, and each person is different, so you really have to, you can't go to someone, a spiritual coach. I'm learning, like, my spiritual coach, she's there to help and guide and coach me, but she's not there to tell me this is your true authentic self and this is who you are. That is something for me with the resources she gives me to then sit and ponder on and find out. So the one is align with your true authentic self. Another one is the setting boundaries. I did say that in the video. That is by setting boundaries, you won't have to say yes when you mean no, because people will already know. I know not to go to her for that, or I know I'm not going to ask for that, because she's already made it clear that is not, that's a boundary, so I'm not going to cross it. When you don't set boundaries, you block growth, you block creativity, you block evolution. If you're always giving to others, then you're unable to pour back into yourself, and you're unable to pour that same energy and that magic back into yourself that you pour into other people, and it leaves you empty. So 2, set boundaries, stick with them. 3, learn to show up for yourself. When you learn to show up for yourself first, let's say learn to show up for yourself first, because when you learn to show up for yourself first, then you know what you can do for others. It's almost like creating like a budget. Bills got to come first. Everything else I could go spend money on. And that's almost what it's like with self-care and self-love. You show up for yourself first. You already say, this is what no matter what, every day, every week, once a month, or whatever it's going to be, this is what I do. Now, anything outside of that time, then, okay, it's allocated for me helping others. Also, just always saying yes and doing the right thing, that is a self-limiting belief that will keep you unhappy. By doing what you think society says you should do, by just, always being the giving person, that is a self-limiting belief that's just going to keep you unhappy. It's just as simple and plain as that. I have learned that what other people may believe I should be doing, if it's not what I believe it, oh well, you can look at me any type of way, but with me learning myself and having self-love for myself, I don't care what you think of me, because I know who I am. And so I think that is a big one. And then a couple things, just release which is no longer serving you, and just kind of be very mindful of who you're releasing and who you're giving your power to, and just kind of maybe evaluate, like, should I, is this person deserving of it? And just remember, it is okay. Like, during this process, it is, like I said, and I'm going to say this for a lot of the women in my life, I think this is going to be very foreign for you guys, because I definitely have surrounded, myself with people who are amazing women. And when you are an amazing woman, people automatically are attracted to you, and they without even realizing they take. But in the same sense, we give. So I hope this message finds everybody. And again, like I said, the second part of the video is going to be dark, because I went for a run at like 11 o'clock at night. But I hope that this just kind of helps, maybe helps you guys.
One of the things I had to learn on my healing journey, as well as my spiritual journey, was to stop saying yes when I wanted to say no. I am a people pleaser. I've always have been. So for me, I would say yes without sometimes even thinking, like even seeing if it was something that I wanted to do. Someone would ask, or some of the times people wouldn't even have to ask. They would just maybe be talking to me, and then I would just volunteer. I would volunteer stuff. I would say yes. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? I can't do that. Or it would be something I would consciously, like I would know I was saying yes to, and I know consciously I did not want to do it. I just didn't want to do it, but I just thought maybe, this is what you're supposed to be doing, to be a good mom, to be a good daughter, a good sister, a good wife, whatever. You do these things. And deep down inside, I didn't want to do it, but I just thought this is what you do. Society said this is what you do, and you don't want to be the bad person, when your friends are in need, your family members are in need, you do whatever you can. And especially, I know this is true for women, for moms, not just moms, but women. We are kind of taught to put others first. And by doing that, you are a good mom, you're a good wife. Well, in reality, that doesn't make you a good mom, a good wife. It makes you resentful. It'll end up making you resentful. And I didn't realize that I heard this in my spirituality, don't say yes when you mean no. And I was just like, that just for me it was like, oh, well, that just kind of seems common sense. You don't ever say yes. And then I had to stop and was like, wow, no, it's not, because there's so many times in my life when I've said yes or I say yes, and I really deep down inside I mean no. And what it does, it teaches you to put others first. It teaches you to put yourself last. And one of the big things in the spiritual journey I'm learning is self-realization and learning self, and loving self and self-care. In this healing journey for me, self-care has came up so many times, from my shaman, from my spiritual coach, from my priestess, from my mentors. So many people want self-care, self-care, self-care. You have to, self-love, learn self-care. And I think even self-care, especially in this day and time, self-care is kind of used very loosely. Or, we look at it as going to get our hair done, going to get our nails done. And that can be a form of self-care. But that is not the deep spiritual self-care that we need. Self-care, I had to learn, for me, what it looked like. And it could look like different things for different people. But when you're doing self-care on the spiritual level, for me, it was setting times throughout the day to create ritual, which included meditation, yoga, sun salutation, my daily prayers, multiple daily prayers, reading, researching, just sitting and being quiet and listening to my body and feeling my body, and those and learning and doing that and putting those rituals in play for me meant throughout the day I might have to say no to certain people or say no to certain things because of the fact that came first. And so on this healing journey for me, self-care and self-ritual is a must. I do it because I have to do it. I do it because it is what's keeping me grounded. It's what's keeping me sane, if we want to be honest. It's what's keeping me sane and not locked up in a crazy home somewhere. And so by doing that, though, you really have to put yourself first. And you have to be okay with saying no and not and just no. Like, it might hurt your feelings, hurt someone's feelings. It might, and at first it's very foreign. At first it's very foreign, especially if you're used to being a people pleaser and you're used to telling people yes. It's a very foreign, and I know for me, I caught myself where I would say no and then back up or, okay, well, let's figure out. I could do it this way. And then I had to learn, like, no, like, it's no. If I don't want to do it, it's a no. And I'm not talking about like stuff that, we have to do, like chores. But you know what? Yeah, it could be that too. It could just be like, you know what? Like for me, I'm in this season of my life, I'm not cooking. I'm like, it's not for me. I don't want to cook. I don't feel like cooking. And I know my son and I know my partner is like, you don't want to cook. But it's like, you know what? That is not making me happy. But I'm not saying that I'm not going to make sure you guys don't eat. Like, I'm going to make sure we still eat. And I'm going to make sure it's still healthy and make sure it's still good. But for me, it's just sticking to saying no when you mean it. Is very important. And it will teach you. And also a way for me is, not answering right away too to certain things, to certain commitments. Because again, before, being a people pleaser, you just would say yes without even thinking it through. So now for me, I don't do that. What I do is I meditate. I sit down and, is this something I want to do? Do I want to make this commitment? Do I want to help this person out? Can I afford this? And when I use afford, your time is just as valuable as money, if not more. It's something that you cannot get back. It's something, we don't create time. We can create money, but we don't create time. And so it's very important to sit down and have those talks and sit down and say, hey, is this something I want to do? And when you start saying yes from a place of wanting to say yes, it feels so good. It feels good. And because what I learned too is that when you say yes and you mean no, a lot of the times you're not thinking that you're just doing it to help the other person. It will end up backfiring. It will end up to where you will start feeling resentful, or you might get angry or mad because I'm doing this and I could be doing what I really want to do, but I'm here helping you and stuff. And then that energy comes off, and it's not good for either party. So for me, it's, sticking to that no when you mean it. And then when you mean yes, say you sticking to that yes. But setting boundaries, that goes along with this saying yes when you mean no, as well, is that, having those boundaries and knowing like, hey, this is and your boundaries might change. It's just because we are evolving. So what my boundary was yesterday and what I might have did yesterday, I don't feel like doing today. Or what I told you no yesterday, you know what? I'm willing to do it today. And that's okay. But again, it is self-discovery. It's just sitting and finding self-discovery is what's really going to help in this journey.